Hey yogis, welcome. My name is Flo and I'm honored to guide you through this practice today. It might be your first yoga class today and you just wanted to try out this thing called yoga. I was in the same boat several years ago and so was my wife, and we're running this channel together where we're teaching yoga classes, movement-based classes, also breathwork classes and meditation classes, and we kind of want to give you also a glimpse and insights into our life with living yoga off the mat. So we share some vlogs and some yoga lifestyle tips on this channel as well. So I hope you stick around and you check out the other videos too. In today's practice, we will go through a very simple beginner flow. So this class is perfect if this is your first time on the mat. I'm trying to do my best to give you a good experience about what yoga is, explain a little bit more about it, and will guide you through all of it. The movements, the breath, what's going on with the mind, perhaps some philosophy. We'll see what happens. But know that there's just so much more to yoga than just doing movements and poses on the mat. Most of us think that yoga is doing poses on the mat, which is partly true. It is part of yoga, but it's really only a very small part. It's an important part, but just a very small part. Know that there is so much more out there that is part of the yoga system. Think of it as the poses only as the tip of the iceberg, and then the rest of it underneath that you can't really see is all the breath work, the meditations. There's so much about nutrition and lifestyle and diet and fasting and philosophy, and there's just so much. It's a complete lifestyle, really, and not just being on the mat doing poses. So I'll guide you through it. All you need today is your mat if you have one. Otherwise, carpet is fine for your first class as well. If you are practicing on wood floor, then you might feel your knees a little bit more, but know that the more you are on the knees, the stronger they will get. Even though it's uncomfortable in the beginning, even on a mat, it might be uncomfortable being on the knees. Know that the knees will get stronger and it will feel better over time. If you have blocks or books around, sometimes we need those. If you need some more reach and you can't reach down to the ground, then you want to use a book or something like that. So put a couple of books next to you. It's always good to have all the props ready. Even though you might not be using them, it's good to have them just in case. If you have some pillows also around, then put them around you too. Couch cushions are great as bolsters. Just get all the things. Build everything up around you and around your mat, and perhaps play some good music that you enjoy, or check out my Spotify channel where I have also a ton of music specifically for classes like this. Get ready, find your way into a seated position, and let's start sitting nice and tall comfortably. So I sit in hero's pose, sitting on the heels. For a lot of people that's maybe uncomfortable for the ankles, for the knees, so you can also sit cross-legged. You can also lift your hips up a little bit higher. You can, in this case, grab the bolster or grab whatever you want to sit on so that you can be comfortable. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes to arrive, to feel the breath, to set an intention, so it's important that you are comfortable. Place your hands wherever you want. You can place them in your lap or also on your thighs, maybe on the knees. Sit nice and tall so that you have the head stacked right above the shoulders and the shoulders right above the hips, so that the gravity can go straight down. It's a very efficient and also effortless position for the upper body to be in. Close your eyes. Some of us, this might be uncomfortable, so do your best to stay with eyes closed in the beginning. But of course, if there's something that doesn't feel right that I suggest here and it just doesn't feel good for you, then modify it so that it feels good for you. So in this case, it might be that you want to keep the eyes open. Notice the body first. Let's start to scan the body. Feel what is touching the ground, what is having contact with the earth, with your mat, with your carpet or the floor. Feel the ankles, the feet, the knees, your shins. Scan the body moving upwards. Start to feel the thighs, the hips, lower back, your belly, your chest, your mid back, your upper back, your shoulders. Relax them down. Feel the fingertips, the fingers, the hands, your neck. Sit tall, Feel the crown of your head. Notice the breath, the sensation of the breath, the air that's flowing in and out through the nose. It's happening automatically, so usually we're not doing much to breathe. But in a yoga practice, or as part of yoga, we can do quite a bit of breath work and breath and breathing exercises that help us to breathe better and to calm the mind. But for now, let's just notice. Oftentimes this is one of the most challenging parts of the practice, is to sit down, be quiet, be still, and just breathe. It happens that the mind, the thoughts get really loud, and there's lots of thoughts coming up of the future, the past, some planning thoughts, some stories that you're telling yourself, that someone else is telling you, or you start to analyze things. And this is part of the reason why we practice, to quiet that voice down, so that the thoughts are still there, they still come up, but you're not so controlled by the thoughts. Instead, through this practice of yoga, you will learn what thoughts to follow, what thoughts not to follow. So you gain a little bit more control over what's going on, how you respond to things that are happening within or from the outside. So all the movements, all the poses are great, but it's really all about finding that peace and happiness within. And it's all already there, so we can all discover it. It's not easy to sit down and breathe, but it's for sure possible for all of us. That's why it's called yoga practice. Take a moment to set your intention for this practice today. It might be, since it's your first class, just to have an open mind, to try it out, to do your best. Just see how this yoga thing is. It might be something else. Might be focusing more on the breath. Especially if it's not your first time watching this video and you keep coming back to it, you can set another intention each time. Whatever it is, doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong intention. There's only the one that you set for yourself. You add the meaning to all of this. Keep the sensation of the body, the awareness, also the awareness of the breath. Blink your eyes open if you want. We'll start with a side bend. Bring your right hand next to you on the ground, on your right side. And your left arm is reaching up and over your head towards the right side. You might keep that right arm that's on the ground straight, or bend it, pull the belly in, and reach as far as you can so that you feel the left side body. Now that you are in the position, you really want to bring all your awareness to the sensation of the body. And then focus on the breath. Nice and slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. You're breathing into the part of the body where you feel this, and you're breathing into the pose. By using the breath, you fully arrive, you're fully present in this shape that your body is in right now. Remember, it's all about the breath. The poses are important and they are useful, of course, but they're secondary. It's important what your breath is doing, where your focus, where your attention is while you are in the pose. On your inhale, release, other side, left hand down to the ground, reach your right arm up and over your head. Pull the belly in, rotate your chest a little bit more to the right side, up towards the ceiling. Reach with your right hand to the left. Feel the right side body and breathe. Nice and slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Inhale brings you back to center. Now interlace your hands behind the back. Bring your hands over to your left hip, sit nice and tall, then relax the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Looking for a sensation in the right side of the neck, sit tall, close your eyes if you want to, breathe, send that breath into the right side part of your neck. There's never a reason to hold still in any of these poses, so feel free to move around if you want to in any of the upcoming shapes that we're about to do. And in this one you can move the head forward and back, kind of like a quarter circle with your head. This might feel really nice if you have some tightness or stiffness in the neck area or shoulders. It's also a great one to do at your desk or when you're after sitting a lot. Very good. Let's come back to center, switch sides, bring the hands over to the right hip. Sit tall, release the right ear down towards the right shoulder. Breathe. Focus on that sensation in the left side part of your neck. And then you decide if you want to move the head forward and back or if you want to stay here. Maybe give it a try to move the head forward and then you see it doesn't feel good, then you stop doing it. It's really not about doing exactly what I do here. It also might look very different in your body than it does in mine. Especially if this is your first yoga class. You know, I remember my first yoga class, it was very different compared to how it is today. How it looks, how it feels, what's going on in the body. So don't use me as a guide on how it should look. I'm just throwing out suggestions. Let's come back to center. Very good. Let's find your way onto your back. Keep the knees bent. Bring the heels close to the hips, arms out to the sides, palms are facing downwards. Press into the heels, lift your hips up for bridge pose. In this one you want to engage your glutes, that means flex your butt cheeks as much as possible to lift your hips up as high as you can. Again, doesn't matter how high, you just lift them up as high as possible. And then secondly, you want to keep a gap between the chin and the chest so that you keep the neck nice and safe. So it helps often to tilt the head back a little so that you have more of a gap between the chin and the chest. 3 more deep breaths, nice and slow, in and out through the nose. Last deep breath in. Exhale, release the hips down. Keep the feet as they are, just bring the knees together. Stay here for a moment. Breathe. Very good. Now grab behind the legs, behind the knees, start to rock forward and back. We will all meet in a boat pose, which is the shins parallel to the ground, point the toes forward. We're not here for too long, just for a little bit to activate the core, because a strong core as well as strong glutes are so important to keep the lower back safe. So if you're having any problems with your lower back, of course, have it looked at, but it really helps to then, once you are pain-free, to work on core and glutes. Reach your arms forward, hold it there. Let's just stay for 5 breaths, that's it. If that's too much for the hip flexors or for your back, just set the heels down and stay there. Try to keep the spine nice and long. Last 3 breaths. Nice and slow, deep through the nose. Now that we are in the pose, feel the breath, focus on the breath. Now let's release, cross your ankles, roll over the knees. We're coming into a tabletop position, so you're coming into or onto all fours. Make sure the shoulders are above the wrists, the hips are above the knees. And for this one, stay on the toes, keep the arms straight, send the hips back. With your arms straight, you move forward. You kind of want to rock forward and back in this one, and you have your hands almost as wide apart as the shoulders, maybe a tiny bit more, tiny bit less, but kind of roughly underneath the shoulders so that the gravity can go straight down. In any other shape, if you go further out or further in, you just use more muscle and it's less efficient of a pose to be in. A couple more times rocking forward and back. We will warm up the wrists a little bit, although we are not so much on our hands today. Since it's your first class or you might be very new to yoga, I want to give you this advice to always warm up the wrists in the beginning of your practice before you put any weight on the hands. Let's come forward and move in a circle. Keep the arms straight, stay on the toes, so we're also stretching out the feet and the toes. Because a lot of times people in class and instructors also don't really warm up the wrists, which I think is a very dangerous thing. I think one of the main injuries in yoga is usually with the wrists. And so by warming them up, you do a lot for your safety, and also you do a lot for your wrist health, switch directions, for wrist mobility, flexibility. And if you imagine that most of us sit a lot or work at the desk, then in the evening you might go to yoga studio or at home and do these videos. And if you don't warm up the wrist, you were just at the desk all day doing this position, then you want to come into a plank or downward dog and put so much weight on the hands. It's really not smart to do. So you want to warm up the wrists first, get them ready for the practice. Very good. Now last one for the wrists, just so that you have a couple of options what to do for the hands. The fingertips are pointing towards the knees. Keep the arms straight, stay on the toes, send the hips back, the palms lift up. And it might be with the palms for you still on the ground. That's great. You just lean back. As long as you feel this in the forearms and also in the fingers, it's all good. It's all about the sensation. Focus on the breath. I have a video on this channel specifically for wrist warm-up, so if you experience any wrist problems, I have a video only for that with like 10 or so wrist exercises to hopefully help you get rid of any wrist pain and to increase the wrist flexibility. Very good. Sit on the heels, shake out the hands. Let's stretch the toes out a little more. Just 2 more breaths. I know it might be uncomfortable to sit on the toes. Again, it will get easier over time. Hands down, back to tabletop. Very good. So now that the wrists are warmed up, we can put some more weight on the hands. In that tabletop, untuck the toes. So you're on the tops of your feet. Extend the right leg back and the left arm forward. This one is called spine balancing. Press into your right palm. Really push that ground away. So notice how now the shoulders just zag down. I kind of let the chest lower down. You want to avoid that. You want to push up, push away. Of course, it's challenging, but we're working on building strength. Pull the belly in, reach your left arm forward and up, and the right leg back and up. Very good. Feel the right glute, the right butt cheek, press into your right palm. Now let's do 3 of those. You bring the right knee to the left elbow, curl into a ball around your back. Extend the left arm and the right leg back. Very good. Just 2 more. Keep breathing, extend it back. Last one. Very good. Set the left hand down, the right knee down. With your inhale, arch your back, look forward. On your exhale, round your back, push the ground away. Cat pose. On your inhale, cow pose, arch your back, look forward. Exhale, round. One more, inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Let's come back to neutral. Extend your left leg back and the right arm forward. Very good. Press into your left palm. Really push that ground away. Pull the belly in. Reach your right arm up. The left leg up and back. Breathe. Lower the left hip more down. Focus on that breath. Feel the pose. So we're building strength and awareness. That's the reason why we practice yoga. Everything else comes from there. Flexibility comes as a side product. Being more mindful, more present comes from that awareness practice that we do right now by focusing on the breath while we are in this shape. Especially if it gets challenging, we learn so much from this. Now 3 of those as before. Right elbow, left knee, tap, round your back, extend it out. Tap and round. Extend. Last one, you're doing great. Very good. Back to tabletop, both hands down, both knees down. Now we're coming into downward facing dog, our first downward facing dog, maybe the first downward facing dog in your life. That's amazing that I can guide you through your first downward dog. That's such a great moment. Now come onto the toes. Keep the knees bent. And then you lift the knees up, you move the hips up and back. Keep the knees bent so the chest is moving towards the thighs. So I want you to be in this downward facing dog shape. It doesn't matter what you have seen anywhere in any yoga magazines, on Instagram, anywhere else on YouTube. If you're new to yoga, then this is the shape you want to do. You want to open the shoulders up, having this really nice long line from the wrists all the way up to the hips. Pull the belly in. Now keep that length in your back, in your arms. Open the shoulders, move the chest towards the thighs. And then if you want, you can straighten your legs a little bit more so that you feel it in the back side of your legs, but you want to keep the chest moving towards the thighs. So maybe this is your down dog, maybe with the legs a little bit more straight. Maybe if you're already a seasoned practitioner and you just wanted to check out this video, thanks for doing that, and you maybe have your legs straight. But either way, wherever you are, it's all about moving the chest towards the thighs. It's the function of this pose is to open the shoulders up, press into your palms, feel the fingertips, press those fingertips into the ground, pull the belly in, and breathe. Don't take the shape that I'm doing here as how it should be looking. It's not how it should be looking. It should be looking the way it looks in your body right now. Keep the breath going, look more within, feel the breath. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Downward facing dog, I remember, was back then when I started a really challenging pose. So this might be very challenging for you. Stay with the breath. It's all good. It's all hard for all of us in the beginning. It will get easier and easier over time. The body gets so much stronger so fast the more you practice. Alright, now bend the knees if they're not already. Walk the feet forward between the hands. As far forward as you can. Now, let's take a deep breath in here, lift up halfway. You can bring the hands to the shins, lengthen out through the spine, flat back, or fingertips on the ground, depending what's available for you. Exhale, forward fold and down. Keep the legs straight, round your back. Let's do 2 more just like that. Inhale, lift up, hands to the shins, flat back, lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more with the breath. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Very good. Now bend your knees. Roll up through the spine to standing. Feel the spine roll up. Engage your glutes. Reach your arms up. Palms touch. Exhale, hands down to the heart. Stand tall. Very good. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Keep the legs straight. Maybe the hands might not touch. I remember when I started doing yoga, or first I started with a meditation practice, and then years later I discovered yoga because of lower back pain. So my forward fold actually was more like this when I started. And it was very painful too. And so that was the reason why I looked up all these different poses and movements. And what can I do? And I went to my first yoga class, and then everything goes from there. But this is where I started. So even though now, I can bring like palms to the ground, it was not like that for me in the beginning. It was very painful. This was my max, and I was happy if I could move pain-free. So if you can relate to that, know that there's hope. And yoga really changed my life in this way. Let's take a deep breath in, lift up halfway, hands to the shins again or fingertips on the ground. On your exhale, step the left foot back. Set the left knee down for low lunge. You can stay on the left toes, which I personally like doing. You can also untuck the left toe, so it really depends what feels better for your left knee. Reach both arms up. Pull the belly in. Push the hips forward. Engage your left butt cheeks as well, your left butt cheek. I guess you also only have one there. and reach out through the arms. Reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Send the hips forward and down. At the same time, to make this active, pull the right heel back and push the left knee forward. So you really feel the legs working. Pull the belly in. Feel the breath in and out through the nose. Let's take one more last deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands down. Now straighten the leg. For most of us, when we do that, the hips come back. So in this case, you want to heel toe the right foot forward so that you have the left hip right above the left knee. Flex your left foot so that the toes are pointing towards you. And now it might be a good time to grab books because you want to be kind of here. If you can bring the fingertips to the ground, that's great. If you can go even deeper, then I assume you already know what you're doing, so just do your thing. Pull the right hip back, keep that leg straight, but if you tend to hyperextend, you want to keep a little bit of a micro bend, which I generally recommend for everyone, just a micro bend in the knee. And then you fold forward and down. So again, this looks very different in my body or in this video right now, what I'm showing you here compared to your body. That's perfectly fine. Wherever you are, doesn't matter how it looks, as long as you feel this in the back side of your right leg, it's all good. That's all we're looking for. Keep the breath going. I'm getting really sweaty here. It's very hot right now this morning here in Thailand. You can also windshield vibe with the right foot to the left and to the right, if that feels good for the right hamstring, kind of to just explore the different parts of this pose. But again, it's all optional. Very good. Now rebend the right knee, maybe slide the foot more back. Straighten both legs, pivot both feet to the left for standing straddle forward fold. So now before you go more down, you want to make sure that the heels are wider apart than the toes. So you kind of internally rotate the feet, the thighs, the legs. And then you can fold forward and down. And maybe for you that forward fold is that you cannot even reach the hands to the ground. And that's perfectly fine. I'm sure if that's you, you still feel it in the back side of your legs. And that's all we're looking for. We need to get out of our head with how this should look or what we saw somewhere else or what I'm doing here. I've been doing this for many years every single day. And if this is your first class or first week or month or first 3-4 months, you know, it's going to look very different. Just fold forward, relax into it. That's all we want to do. Breathe into the back side of your legs, your hamstrings. Relax. Bring the awareness to the breath, in and out through the nose, one breath at a time. Let's take 3 more breaths in this pose. Very good. Release, lift up halfway, and we pivot the feet to the front to face the front again. We're coming into a crescent lunge. So you bend the right leg, straighten the left, raise the upper body up, and reach your arms up over your head. Now stay on the left toes. The left heel is right above the left toes. You shift the left heel more forward, so you're stretching out the left toes. Reach out through the arms, pull the belly in. You want to see that right big toe inside the right knee so that the right thigh is tracking the same direction as the right foot. Once you have that, breathe just 3 more breaths. I know it's challenging. Stay with the breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. 1 breath at a time. Last deep breath in. Exhale, release the left hand down to the ground. Pivot both feet to the right. Come into the knife edge of both feet. Reach your right arm up. So let's stay in the supported side plank for now for this class. If you want, you can stack the right foot on top of the left, but for now, I will stay with you in the supported side plank. Very good. Keep that left leg straight, straighten out through both arms, breathe, just 3 more breaths. And release. Both hands down, plank pose. Step the right foot back. Very good. Bring the shoulders over the wrists again so that gravity can go straight down. Although it's called plank pose, it's really not straight like a plank of wood like this. What we see a lot is this kind of plank. And then with the chest down, the shoulders together, so you're kind of just resting here. This is not a very efficient plank. Of course, this makes it easier, but since we're here to build strength and awareness, you want to push the ground away as much as possible. So look at the difference in my shoulders. So now they're together, shoulder blades together, and now I push up. Not good? Good. Avoid this. Do this, okay? Lift your hips a little bit higher up, flex your butt cheeks, push the ground away. If that's too hard, set the knees down. But keep pushing away. Keep pushing for dear life into your hands, even with the knees down. It's all good. Let's stay for 3, 2, 1. Now set the knees down, shift forward, bend your arms, lower all the way down. Good job. Thanks for sticking around, so I'm not just here working by myself. Now bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Untuck the toes, press into your palms, the chest lifts up for cobra pose. Squeeze the elbows together, flex your butt cheeks as much as possible, really important. And then lower back down. Let's do 4 more just like this. Sounds good? Let's do it. Lift up and lower. Lift and lower. Last 2. I know you all said yes just now when I asked. Last 1, lift up, flex the butt cheeks, lower down. Very good. Press into the palms, send the hips back for child's pose. Walk the hands forward. So in child's pose, ideally, you have the big toes together. 2 options here, the knees open wide, so you have some space for the upper body, or the knees together. So whatever works for you. Walk the hands forward. And this, of course, comes down again to ankle flexibility, knee flexibility. So your child's pose might look something like this. Is that bad? No, no one cares. Do what feels good in your body, what's possible in your body today. This is amazing. You're here, you're doing it, you're doing the work. Compared to a lot of people that just click the video and don't do it, you're actually on the mat and you're doing it with me. So whatever your child's pose is, relax the forehead down and breathe. I'll keep my head lifted so it doesn't sound weird with the microphone. We still have the other side to do, but you're doing great. 1 breath at a time. And usually if you're, especially if you're new to this, you will notice that the second side somehow, for some reason, always goes a little bit faster than the first side. Although we're doing the same amount of breath and staying in the poses for the same amount. Let's come into a downward dog. Dripping sweat over here, so I'm sure you're working hard too. Hands down, toes on the ground, keep the knees bent, move the hips up and back, the chest is moving towards the thighs. That is your downward dog, opening the shoulders up, and this might be your down dog for the next months. This is great. Keep the breath going. I will find my variation of a down dog. Not better or worse than yours, just different because of the amount of time that I have been practicing or you have been practicing. There also might be so much more that goes into this, like past injuries, limitations that you have in your body, and yes, they exist. Not everyone can reach the same level of strength or flexibility. There are very big differences in the bone structure, so you need to know that not everything that you see somewhere physically is possible for you or for me as well. There are limitations, there are very big differences. Alright, now we walk the feet forward again, feet between the hands. Now lift up halfway, hands to the shins. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the legs straight. Inhale, lift up halfway, hands to the shins. Exhale, fold. Last one with the breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Bend your knees, roll up to standing, nice and slow. Flex your butt cheeks, roll up. Reach up. Hands to the heart. Stand tall. Release the hands down to the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Very good. Inhale, lift up halfway. Lengthen out through the spine. Exhale, step the right foot back. This time, let's do the other side. Low lunge, right knee down. Reach your upper body up. Reach your arms up. Pull the belly in. Reach out through the arms upwards. You want to keep the arms straight. The fingertips are not just loose. You want to actually reach up, energize up towards the ceiling. Now push that the right knee forward and pull the left knee back, the left heel back to make this foundation in this low lunge nice and strong. Just 2 more breaths. Last deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands down, straighten your left leg. Now you see the right hip is not over the right knee, so I want to heel toe the left foot forward. I have long legs as well, so I might have to do this one and you don't. That's all right. Flex your left foot. You want to see the tip of your left toes. Now hands on books, fingertips on the ground, palms on the ground, doesn't matter. Keep a micro bend in your left knee. Pull the left hip back, then fold forward and down. Breathe into the left back side of your leg, the back side of your left leg, your left hamstring. If you feel it there, great. It's all good. Windshield wiper the left foot to the left and right if you want to. We're just here for 3 more breaths. Very good. Rebend the left knee. Heel toe the left foot back if you need to. Then straighten both legs. Pivot your feet to the right. The heels are wider apart than the toes. And then you fold forward and down. Three breaths here. Nice and slow. In and out through the nose. Relax, breathe, it's all good. Take a deep breath in, lift up halfway, lengthen out through the spine. Pivot your feet to the left. We're facing the front of the mat again for crescent lunge. Bend your left knee, straighten out to the right. Reach both arms up. The right heel shifts forward, so it's more over the right toes. And personally, I like to bend the right leg. That for one makes it stronger, but also decompresses the lower back. So if with the straight leg, it just doesn't feel good in your lower back, then bend the leg, okay? Look inside the left knee. Make sure you can see that big toe inside the left knee. I know it's challenging. The left thigh is also talking to me. Focus back on the breath, especially if it gets challenging. You want to nice and slow inhale and exhale. Just 2 more like that. You can do it. And exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand down inside the left foot. Now pivot both feet to the left. Keep the right leg straight. Come onto the knife edge of both feet. Reach your left arm up. Supported side plank. If you know what you're doing and you want to do a side plank on the right side, fold side plank, stack that left foot on top. I'll stay with you here in the supported side plank for today. Press into your right palm, left fingertips are reaching up. Breathe. Just 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one like that. Inhale. Exhale. Good job. Plank pose. Both hands down. Step the left foot back. Very nice. Push the ground away. Tuck your tailbone. Engage the core. Lift your hips a little bit higher up than you usually would in a straight plank of wood kind of plank. Very good. Hold. Let's hold for 5. Push the ground away. Maybe knees down. You decide. Do your best. Push away. 3, 2, and 1. Set the knees down. Shift forward. Bend your arms. Lower all the way down. Very good. Untuck your toes. Now keep the hands as they are underneath your shoulders. On your inhale, you lift everything up that you can lift up. Usually that means the hips stay on the ground, but maybe you can even lift the hips up, I don't know. So we lift everything up, the hands, the chest, the shoulders, the feet, the thighs, the knees, everything lifts. Ready? Let's do it. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, lower everything down. Inhale, lift, and lower. Let's do 5 more. So important to work on the back strength as well, especially if you're sitting a lot, which a lot of us nowadays do. And that's not a bad thing, it's just our lifestyle nowadays and in this century. But we need to do some things that are countering all that sitting. Let's do 2 more, I lost count, maybe we do some extra. Last one, lift and hold. Lift everything up, lift higher up. Breathe for 3, 2, lift higher up. 1, and release everything down. Very good job. Relax your forehead down onto the hands or your forearms. Shake the hips left and right. Beautiful work. Beautiful job. Very good. Now bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push back to tabletop, and then just move the knees forward, cross your ankles, come into a seated position. Now the legs come forward. Make sure the feet are a little bit wider apart than the hips. Your hands go behind you, the fingertips are pointing towards you. You press into the palms, you press into the heels, and lift your hips up. Lift them up as high as you can. So maybe again this one is as high as you can lift them up. That's perfect. Lift up as high as you can. Doesn't matter how it looks, how high that really is. We're all doing our best, just like in life. And that's all we can do and ask for. Just doing our best. Every moment, every breath, every day. For some of you here, it feels good to tilt the head back. If that's you, go ahead, do that. Doesn't feel good for me, so I don't do it, but I still like to offer it. Now, send the hips forward, keep the hands as they are, don't move the hands, and then set the hips all the way down to the ground, as close to the heels as possible. Now with your next inhale, lift your chest up high. On your exhale, bend your arms, send the elbows back. Breathe into the front side part of your shoulders. Nice and slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Just 3 more. Last one. Very good. Now walk the hands forward. Reach your arms forward. Maybe now you feel the shoulders. I always do in this one. Slowly, slowly come onto your back. No rush. Actually, let's come onto the back for 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful job. Scoot onto the mat if you're kind of off the mat. Keep your knees bent. Keep the feet, the heels close to the hips for half shavasana. Extend the arms out to the sides. The palms are facing upwards. Close your eyes. Relax the body. Let the body melt into the ground. Let everything be heavy. All the work is done for now. Be proud of yourself for clicking this video, doing the work, sticking around until the very end. Really amazing job. Thank you so much for doing that. Let the body completely relax. Be here now. It's okay to lay on your back. Let the breath come back to its natural rhythm where you're not controlling anything. Simply breathe. In through the nose, out through the nose. And repeat. proud of yourself for making it through this practice, for clicking the video, perhaps trying out something new. Maybe it's this channel, maybe it's yoga in general. You can be very proud of yourself. It takes a lot to do this first step, but you did it. This is a very important pose at the end of our practice. So I encourage you to never skip it, even if you stay for just a few minutes before you continue with your day or your evening. Please stay for a Shavasana. If you want to extend the legs forward, of course, go ahead. I will let the video just end here. Feel free to stay as long as you want. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I wish you a wonderful day or evening ahead. Thank you so much. With love and gratitude, Namaste.